Hey, Eli here. Today I want to share my thoughts on the Chris Reeves large Inkosi. I was able to get this off of Blade Binge. I wanted to see how it felt, what I thought of it. Yeah, so I'm going to give you those thoughts. It is used. It's got a couple like little tiny blemishes, and I got it for a very, very good price. So I just snagged it off Blade Binge. I figured, you know what? If I don't want to keep it, I can sell it. And maybe I'll pay a small fee for just like a small rental and just see what I think of it. I know for a lot of people, this is a really coveted knife and knife brand. And yeah, I just had no clue what to expect really, other than it being really sturdy. And so today I want to kind of share my thoughts on what I think of it. Yeah. So initially I'll just say that I'm not overly impressed for the price. I'm not sure if it's something I'm going to keep. I'm going to play with it a little bit more just around the studio here and just cut some more paper, open envelopes. I do think it is a phenomenal looking knife. For the price, it's just a little much. So I kind of want to go over what I initially noticed is that opening it with the thumb stud hurts my thumb. I know that it's probably takes something getting used to. When I had Benchmade knives, when I started out flicking those, definitely was something that I had to learn. And then same with the Jack Wolf. When I was opening those, I split my thumb. So opening it, the thumb stud's very pointy and jagged. It really wants to poke you right there in your thumb and the soft part of your thumb. I don't know why they went with that pointy tip like that. Really kind of narrow ball. It feels like there's a ball bearing in there, but I don't really know. I did do some research, found out that people do grind these down, and then if you drill a hole, they're both press fitted in, so you can remove that pin there and then put in your own pin. You can get some on Etsy and all that. So that's something to know. Other things I noticed, and I keep wanting to use this little, I guess it's like the stop pin. I want to use that as like a access lock or button, just because that's the way my hands are trained. So when I go to grab this here and close it, I want to pull down. That's just me probably, but maybe some of you have experienced that. The texturing of the knife, this little bead blasting, feels great. I think it's really good grip. It fits my hand perfectly. I've got pretty large hands, and I can go with a large Inkosi just because that's what popped up. And I always pick around, prefer an 8-inch knife. So let's measure this, see what it is front to back. So yeah, it's like 8 1/4. And so your blade is just like maybe almost 3 1/2, between 3 1/4 and 3 1/2. And then your handle, you're looking at 4 3/4 inches, which for me is great. That's perfect. This knife just feels extremely solid. I do notice that the blade, it comes behind, I guess, the edge of the knife. So if you are wanting to get really down low on a cut, you do gotta come off of whatever you're cutting. If that makes sense, it's recessed back. You've got plenty of sharpening life on here, so you can sharpen for days. The blade itself feels like it's polished. It's a crown spine. It just feels very, very smooth. Like it just feels like it wants to slice through everything, and it feels great. It is a mild hollow grind. I think the contact wheel is a little larger, so that grind isn't super hollow, but it is a hollow grind. Very sturdy blade. And one of the biggest things on this knife that is interesting to me is the tip is, I don't know how you call it, but like the Tanto, there's just one single bevel. So when you go to sharpen this sucker, you're going to have to sharpen that whole blade, which is a plus and a minus. I think it's going to hold up to, it's wear resistance going to be great. It's also MagnaCut, this particular blade. And so, yeah, it's just going to be a bear to sharpen, which, I don't know if I'll get that far, if I'll have this knife that long, but whoever does decide to hard use this knife and make it a daily user, that will be a challenge that they'll face. And I think an angle guided, obviously you're going to want a guided sharpening system to do that. And other than that, the knife feels phenomenal. The clip is great. No complaints about that. It's not completely deep carry, but it's deep enough for me. I do like that the little cutout for, I guess, the retention on the lock is on the inside, so you're not going to catch on your pants or anything. The knife just, yeah, it's a beautiful knife. The jimping, there's two, the only way to open this is through the thumb stud because the blade's so slippery. The jimping has 2 sets of jimping. You've got like one fine and then 2, 3 other teeth in there, so it feels great. I mean, this thing just locks into my hand perfectly. So really, really cool knife. Let's cut some paper for fun. Came very sharp. Even the Tanto tip, super sharp. Very slicey knife. That blade stock's pretty thick. Yeah, So they do give you a lot with this knife. You get a pretty little box. So I'll show you inside. You get some paperwork saying we've got Magna Cut 6364 on the hardness, Tanto, and then the type of titanium. And then this was born March 14th. I think that's 2024. Looks like it's written over there a little bit. So, well, yeah, it was just pretty new knife. So the owner didn't have it that long. And so, but yeah, about a year old. So we're in April right now. So you get Allen wrenches, which is interesting. They do use Allens and not Torx bits on these. And then you get some like grease and some Loctite. And then there was a lanyard that it came with. And a lanyard, to put that in, you just remove these screws. And then there's a lanyard holder thing, you know, in there. And so, and then you get a nice cloth. So really, really nice kit. They give you everything you need to work with the knife, as well as its birth date and birth certificate. Just funny. Knives that I have compare this to, just because I own them. Number one, I think closest comparison would be the Arcform Theory, which is no longer a company. So I purchased one of the last ones. And so I do prefer more drop pointy blades. I think that the more I'm reviewing knives and the more I'm using them, that's probably where I lie. You know, the Benchmade bug out was always one of my favorite blade shapes. Just that knife's a little small for me, but I'm really liking this blade here. Another blade that I could compare it to would be the Jack Wolf knife. This is the Gunslinger. This knife here in particular, Gunslinger, has a little bit more of a belly on the tip than I'd prefer, but I'm fine with it. I'm getting used to it, and I've mastered opening it now, which is key. I'll lay these out for you. So, Ben, I finally figured it out. I'm master at it now, so I can open it all 3 deployments, and even got the nail nick there, or nail flick. And then more recently would be Neves Knives Offender. So this thing's pretty sweet. Super aggressive hollow grind on that one. And then see in this Tanto, you do have a secondary bevel, so you can sharpen it much more easily versus having this full single grind right there, which tough knife. Really, really cool knife. And then Jared, finally, I've got it. I mastered it. So finally got that thumb roll down. So didn't take me about a week, but yeah, it was new to me. Whole thumb roll, and this one just nails it. So this is a really cool knife. So there's my titanium collection. I'm assuming this one, just based off of my thoughts, probably going to go back on Blade Binge, but I had fun with just getting to know it. And, you know, the only way that you can know if you like this knife is to buy it, which unfortunately it's very expensive and they're on back order forever if you do order through the website. I know that they send them out to dealers and they have a bunch of orders going out to dealers, but if you wanted to order one from their website, you're probably looking, I think in the years. Like I think the Amazon is like, I think I'm saying that right, is like 5 years out. I don't know what the Inkosi is, but yeah, keep an eye out for this one on Blade Binge. It's probably gonna end up back up there. If you do see it on there, there's just like the tiniest little, you know, I'll take macro photos, but like there's like a little tiny snail trail here and here. And so yeah, I think this finish is really nice. It's I think bead blasted, a little different than the Arcform. This one's really, really fine beads. I know that this one will get snail trails as well, which is fine, but yeah. So anyway, these are my thoughts, and only my thoughts on these knives, mainly this Chris Reeves, really cool. I would like to go to, hopefully maybe one of the blade shows, then you can hold possibly the drop point version, which I think is what I would end up with if I did decide on committing to one of these knives, one of these Inkosis or Sabenzas. So cool. Thanks for watching, and hopefully these are helpful. If you have any of these knives, drop a comment and say which one's your favorite. So see ya.